Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Today we are diving into one of the most influential texts in urban design history, The Image of the City by Kevin Lynch. In a world full of concrete and glass, how do we actually see a city? How do we remember it? That is exactly what we'll be exploring today. But before we begin, I would like to introduce our team. We are from Group B and my name is Puteri AMIRA SYAFIQAH. I am joined today by NURJUMA, IRFAN ZAFRI, AQILAH and SYAFIQAH ALIYAH. We've been working under the guidance of our lecturer, LARTS Ahmad Zamil bin Zakaria, to break down Lynch's complex theories into something we can all relate to. Alright, to give you a roadmap of our presentation, we'll start with an introduction to Kevin Lynch himself. Chapter 1 covers the image of the environment. Chapter 2 looks at the 3 specific cities Lynch studied. Chapter 3 breaks down the 5 famous elements: paths, edges, districts, nodes, and landmarks. And finally, we'll wrap up with our city form and our conclusion. So, who exactly was Kevin Lynch? He was an American urban planner who, in 1960, published what many consider an infamous, or more accurately, a legendary book. Lynch wasn't just interested in how cities were built, he was interested in the human experience. He studied how people perceive and navigate their surroundings. Most importantly, he introduced to 5 key elements, which you can see represented by these icons on the right. These elements are the building blocks of how we mentally map any city in the world. Now, let's get into the core theory. In Chapter 1, Lynch establishes 3 main pillars. First, A, the city as temporal arc. Unlike a painting or a movie, you can't really see a city all at once. It experiences over long spans of time under different weather and in different moods. As you can see from these images of a medieval city versus New York, environment is never seen in isolation. It's always felt in relation to what's around it and your own memories. B, legibility and imageability. These are 2 big terms in urban design. Legibility is how we easily can organize a city's parts into a coherent pattern. Think of a plan layout of Canberra, Australia, shown here. Imageability is that wow factor, the physical quality that makes an object stand out. A legible city gives us security. Lynch argued that being lost causes literal anxiety and terror. C, the 3 components of an image. Now finally, when we look at any urban element like the F Hamusa in Melaka, we look at it through 3 lenses. 1, identity. Is it unique? Can we recognize it? 2, structure. Where is it in relation to us and other objects? And 3, meaning. What is its value? Is it just a building or is it a home or a landmark? To show you how these theories apply to real-world locations, I'll now pass the floor to SYAFIQAH ALIYAH to talk about Chapter 2, 3 cities.
Hi, my name is SYAFIQAH ALIYAH binti MOHAMAD SIDEK, and I'm going to talk about Chapter 2, 3 cities. In this chapter, Kevin Lynch showed his studies in 3 different cities, such as Boston, Jersey City, and Los Angeles, to understand how people perceive and mentally map about this urban environment. Kevin Lynch also stated that various types of interviews, sketches, observations to see how locals would perceive and remember their cities. Boston has high imageability because it has a clear structure, strong landmarks, and it's easy to navigate. People can easily form a mental map of the city. Other than that, Los Angeles shows mixed imageability. Although movement is easy due to wide roads, the city is very large and spread out, which makes it harder to remember. These comparisons show how urban structure affect how people perceive and experience city.
Jersey City, on the other hand, has low imageability. It has a confusing layout with weak organization and fewer recognizable features, making it difficult for users to understand the city.
If you can look here, this is examples of elements in New Jersey, United States, America. This slide shows the application of Kevin Lynch's 5 elements in Jersey City. Paths are represented by blue lines, where Interstate 78 is the major path and smaller streets act as minor paths. Edges are shown in green. The Hudson River forms a major edge, clearly separating the city from the waterfront, while smaller boundaries act as minor edges. Districts are shaded in different colors. Bergen Lafayette is the major district due to its size and identity, while McKinley Square and West Side are minor districts. Nodes are represented by circle, indicating key intersection
and activity points that help people navigate. Landmarks, such as the Liberty Science Center,
serve as important visual reference within the city. The high confused area is located near the waterfront, where many elements overlap, making navigation more complex and less clear. Now I'm going to talk about Chapter 3, the city image and its element. One of the elements is path. This slide explains one of the key elements, which is path. Paths are routes that people use for movement, such as roads, walkways, and railways. They have several characteristics, including continuity, direction, scale, and activity, which influence how people experience movement. Major paths are frequently used in main routes, while minor paths are smaller connections between them. Well-designed paths improve navigation and make the city easier to understand.
My name is FARAH BINTI FAISAL. Other than part, edges are linear elements that act as boundaries, either separating or connecting different urban areas. It is also important as a planning tool for urban growth.
For the characteristic, boundaries are disruptions between two areas. For example, a river, highway, or wall. Second, discontinuities in the urban area. There is a sudden change in the urban environment. For example, noticeable differences in buildings, routes, and activities. There have two types of edges, which is minor edges and major edges. For minor edges, it is considered as smaller scale, often localized and movable boundaries. As you can see this picture at Calgary, Canada. And for the major edges, it's a bigger scale. Boundaries are completely separate, and this is at Klang River, Malaysia. For the districts are defined as a medium-sized area based on its unique function and character, which is usually has clear edges and larger than puff or knots. Types of district. There have three types, which is residential, commercial, and recreational district. As you can see, residential district at Penang, Malaysia, commercial district at Shoreditch, London, and recreational district at Normal, Illinois, United States. Nodes are important places that attract people's attentions. People usually pass through, stop, or gather, such as public squares or open spaces. Characteristic: strategic location is a center of activity. Concentration and activity is a place where people can interact. Junction nodes and activity nodes. For the junction nodes, such as road at Kuala Lumpur and roundabout at Ho Chi Minh City. For the activity nodes, which is hangout spot at Ho Chi Minh City and shopping areas at Kuala Lumpur. This map shows the 5 elements of the city by the Kevin Lynch. Marks are shown as easily recognizable points. Nodes are places like intersections and public spaces act as boundaries that separate areas, and for the path represent the main routes. Also district, which are divided into two types, which is commercial and business district. For all these elements help users understand the city more easily.
My name is NURJUMA NAZLI, and I'll be talking about form qualities. First, there are 10 form qualities mentioned in the book. The first being singularity, aka figure background clarity, which means that contrast make it recognizable, so it makes users to understand the whole picture better. So, example given like the surface, forms, intensity, etc. Second is form simplicity, which is clarity of visible form in a geometrical sense. What that means is that limited visual causes a shape to be distorted into something simple yet understandable. Third being continuity, which is shapes in a rhythmic interval. It bestows a single identity to the whole area. An example, like buildings, whether it be in shapes or materials or patterns, etc. Fourth being dominance, which is a physical characteristic that are the threshold of attention. Fourth being clarity of join, which is the high visibility of joints and seams. It should be highly perceptible, creates a seamless transitions yet predictable. Sixth being directional differentiation, which is asymmetries, gradients, etc., which differentiates one end from another. How that works is that when you walk from a city to a beach, the walkway itself should makes you realize that you are currently transitioning from one place to another. 7 being visual scope, which is qualities that increases the range and penetrations of visions, either actually or symbolically. What that means is that it is usually mostly found with the usage of glass. 8 being motion awareness, which is observers are able to interpret the direction or distance and to sense the form in the motion itself. 9, which is time series, it is an item by item linkage. What does that mean is that is where one element is simply needed to the two element before or behind it. And lastly, which is the name and meanings, it is a non-physical characteristics that enhance the imageability of an element. Names are especially important in crystallizing identity of a specific area. Next, going into chapter forms, which is CD form, I'll be talking about how we're going to help the city to take its form that we know now. The first is designing the path. And we all know that paths are the most important part or element in the city experience. So how can we make that? The first is make sure that the paths are clear and it continues with no confusing breaks. Second, give each path a strong identity either by its wide avenue or narrow streets. We can also add trees, lightings, or even landmarks. And the third is use directional clues such as slopes, views, signage, or rhythm of buildings. It helps a lot with making sure that the user know what path they are currently going to. And the example shown is in the slide is Bukit Bintang, a city near the modern building with pedestrian walk pathways and traffic signals. Putrajaya, the street pavement beside the trees, and also shows the hierarchy of roads so that the people don't get confused easily. The second is design of other elements. Each part of the city should be distinct but connected, which means that they have to be cohesive so that it won't look weird to people who are experiencing the city. But how can we do that? The first is that edges. Edges should always be visible and meaningful, like the rivers, the walls, or even the highways. Second is the districts. The districts needs to be consistent. By consistent, meaning that the character, the style, the activity, and the atmosphere, making sure it is cohesive and is pleasing to look at the eye. The third should be nodes. Nodes should feel like it's supposed to feel like nodes, like the center point of a huge city, which like squares, intersections, or hubs. And lastly, which is landmarks, it must be unique and easy to recognize so that the people have have easy to use it as a guideline when going into a new territory that never been explored before. And the examples shown in the slides are KLCC, which is a landmark, Malacca River Boardwalk, which is in Malacca, Putra Mosque, a landmark, and also the night view of Putra Square in Putrajaya.
Third point of the city form is form qualities. These are the qualities that improve a city imageability, meaning how easily people can understand and remember it. Some important qualities include singularity, where elements stand out clearly, and continuity, which creates smooth connection between spaces. There is also dominance, which provides a clear hierarchy and directional differentiation, so people can tell where are they going. Lastly, motion awareness, to ensure the city supports movement effectively. These qualities are important because they help people understand how different districts connect so the city does not feel random. Next, the sense of the whole. A good city is not just made up of separate parts, but it should feel like one complete system. To achieve this, there must be an overall structure or pattern that people can easily understand. When a city has this, it feels more organized and coherent. Moving on to the next point, metropolitan form. Today, cities are very large and complex. According to this idea, we need structure not only at the local level but also at the regional level. This includes elements like major highways as paths, large districts, and strong edges such as rivers and coastlines. Without this, cities can feel like endless sprawl. Lastly, process of design. A city is never static. It is always changing. This is influenced by factors like population growth, economic shift, cultural change, and technological development. For example, in Kuala Lumpur, we can see new skyscrapers being built, old buildings being replaced, and entire district transforming over time. Because of this, city design must remain open-ended and adaptable to future change, such as new technologies, environmental change, challenges, and shifting lifestyle. Finally, it's about a new scale. Modern cities are no longer compact. They have expanded into large metropolitan regions. Because of this, people often experience cities in fragments, making it harder to understand the whole. To solve this, we use the same elements, which is path, edges, district, nodes, and landmarks, but on a larger scale. For example, highways or MRT system act as path, natural features act as edges, and landmarks like city skylines become strong focal points.
Before we end the presentation, we would like to give the conclusion of what we understand about the whole book, The Image of the City by Kevin Lynch. In conclusion, the whole element or the theories that we learned in the book shows that physical elements such as path, nodes, edges, districts, and even landmarks, it plays a vital role in shaping the image of the city. Without these five elements, it could not work out as well as we thought it would be, because this element helps users understand and recognize the city even more easily. A city with clear imageability and a strong identity will provide a more comfortable, safe, and meaningful experience for its users. And I hope for those who are watching this slide, thank you for listening to our opinion and what we understood about the whole book. And that is it. That is all from us. Thank you.